It's a Guy Jeans podcast.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Misty Wells, and I had a great conversation with Misty. She's a TV personality. She's on all kinds of different outdoor shows. She does traveling to different countries. She goes fishing. She goes alligator wrestling to swimming with sharks. You want to check her out on mistywells.com. Her show is on all the outdoor networks. She also has a nonprofit called A Real Future for foster kids, where she takes foster kids fishing, and she's a really great gal, super fun to talk to, super outgoing, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. I really enjoyed my conversation with Misty Wells, so here she is. Hi Misty, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing fantastic and really excited to be on the podcast today.
Well, awesome. I love your tagline, let's take it outside.
That's right. And we'll get into that, but I've got a really funny story how I came up with the name of that.
Well, tell me.
So years ago, I had a radio show prior to doing the TV show. And on my first day, I go in there and I'm like, I'm ready, and it's going to be a great outdoor show. I'm based in Florida, but talk about, fishing, hunting, just a little bit of everything in the outdoors. And I walk in and the producer says, well, what's the name of your show? So I had thought of everything except that. And I'm like, I didn't want to admit that I didn't have a name for my show, and I had everything scripted out, and I just thought I had it dialed in. So I said, I'll be right back. I left something in my truck. So I went out to my truck, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I've got to come up with a name. And Brantley Gilbert's song, Take It Outside, came on the radio, and he's talking about going outside and getting into a fight. So I was like, well, if I just change it up a little bit and call it Let's Take It Outside, that's a pretty cool name. And that's really covering and encompassing everything that I'm doing on the show and, what I'm doing now. So that's kind of the story of how it came to be.
Well, for those who don't know, tell me about your show and what you do, because it's pretty awesome. I've been checking it out.
I love it. I have, one of the best jobs in the world, and I'm sure you say the same thing too. Let's Take It Outside. We're just about to film season 5.
Wow.
And I guess to make it, in a nutshell, it's an outdoor adventure travel show.
Yeah.
So the anchor of the show, of course, is outdoor adventure. And because it's Let's Take It Outside, it's really anything that you can do in the outdoors. And I do a lot of stuff from mild to wild. So there's some normal things I do and probably some kind of crazy things I do as well in the show.
I saw you with alligators. And I saw a video of you with alligators. I saw you zip lining. I saw you swimming with sharks. What else? I mean, you do all kinds of stuff.
It's a lot of different things, kind of jack of all, master of none in a sense. I've gone python hunting in the Everglades. Of course, I'm not a master python hunter, but I always go with people that know what they're doing, so that's good. Like you said, I've learned how to wrestle alligators, which is very scary.
Yeah, it looked like you were scared.
Yeah, in my mind, before I actually do it, I'm always like, oh, this is going to be so great. It's going to make the show so awesome. Yeah. But then I realized right before I have to do it that I'm the one doing it. And then reality sets in, but it's a little too late at that point.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I've done nuisance alligator trapping, and we remove alligators from people's backyards and swimming pools and then relocate them. So that was definitely adventurous.
Yeah.
To everything from, fishing, bass fishing, to inshore fishing, offshore, whitewater rafting. Just if it's outside, except for skydiving, I'm willing to do it. What
a great concept, because everybody wants to do that.
Or they at least want to watch me.
Absolutely.
They may not want to swim with sharks, but they may want to watch me do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How did you get into that, and how did your show start?
So I actually am an outdoor writer. That's one of the passions that I had, kind of on the side as a hobby. I worked in the hotel business as a director of sales and marketing while I was raising my kids, and I would write for outdoor magazines on the side. And that segued into the Tampa Bay Times came to me and asked if I would write an outdoor column.
Nice.
They didn't give me a lot of space. They gave me about 100 words, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
And they asked me, because newspapers are so antiquated now in a sense, because there's so many other sources, they said, hey, would you do videos with your articles? So I was like, well, I'm out doing this stuff anyway with my kids and my friends. So sure, why not? This is before YouTube got really big. I think YouTube was really just getting out there and starting. And so I was doing these videos, which they were putting on their channels and got put on YouTube and things. And Fox Sports got wind of these videos and liked them and reached out and asked if I'd be interested in doing some type of outdoor show. And I was also doing my radio show at the time. So in a way, it was a natural progression, but a complete surprise because that wasn't really the plan.
Isn't that interesting? Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when you do a show, or like when you first started doing your shows, did you write everything out? Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot this, and I'm going to say this and all that kind of stuff. Or did you just kind of wing it?
I do put what I call like a shot schedule together because I realized, sometimes when you're in the midst of something that you're really just, you might forget to say something about what you're doing or why we're getting these alligators and where we're relocating them. So I don't do a really tight script, but I do at least kind of do an outline just to help me stay on task because I want the show to be really interesting and be well-rounded, and it definitely helps because, like I said, sometimes you're in the moment, your adrenaline's flowing, and you're going to forget things. So I've learned that, it definitely helps for sure. And
what about, like, do you have like a couple cameramen or people, I should say, that are with you doing it, or are you kind of like taking different shots at different times?
No. So I have a team, a very small team, because we travel light. A lot of times we might be on an airboat or in a kayak, or who knows what we're doing. So it's usually myself and one, maybe two, but usually just one camera person, and he, just is phenomenal. He actually won. He didn't win an Emmy on my show, but he won an Emmy because he works on other shows as well for his co-production and editing. Michael Johnson, he's amazing. That's cool. And he's got people that work for him. So it's usually just myself and Michael and a co-host possibly, because a lot of times I'm doing stuff that's really fun, and most of the time you're not doing these things alone. So I'm lucky I get to have co-hosts, which are friends, my kids, some people in the destination that film with me, and they're right there along with me, except Michael did draw the line at swimming with the 16-foot hammerheads in open water. I don't blame him. I took a GoPro down with me and, just did footage like that underwater. And he had a drone going.
Does he do the editing as well?
He does.
Oh, he's good. He's really good.
He loves it. Yes, he is so good. I'll watch the show and almost feel like it's an out-of-body experience because I'm like, man, this is a really good show. Because he gets beautiful shots, and it's just, his work's really incredible, and he makes me look really good, so I love it.
Is he kind of like doing like some of like the directing as well? Like, hey, we need Misty, we need to get this shot of you doing this, and he has it in his mind already, like because he's going to be editing it.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
work on that together. You
Uh-huh.
know, like I said, we'll do that shot list together. I'll put it
Yeah.
together initially because I just, it's really me saying, okay, we're going to go here. We're going to go to Niagara Falls, and this is what we're going for.
Yeah.
So then I work with the destination to put all the things in there that I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I send it to Michael, and we'll go over it. And that's our guideline. And then we'll also kind of emphasize, certain things that we want to get. So we make sure. So he definitely co-produces with me, and
Yeah.
he's taught me a lot because he works on other shows, and this is relatively new to me. Didn't really even know what I was doing in the beginning. So I appreciate that I've learned so much, from him as well. And we're great. We're a great team, that's for sure.
Your guys' intro is so like, it makes you want to like, okay, like you're watching the intro to your show and you're like, oh my God, okay, what are we going to see now? It's like, it's got a lot of energy. It shows a lot of different things going on. I love it. It's awesome.
I love, and that, really the whole premise of whether I'm writing or, doing the radio show or TV or anything like that, and probably the same with you, is really to encourage people to just get outside, reconnect with nature, try something new, or, maybe we're not going to go all the way to, I'm going to swim with sharks, but it could be like, hey, I did a really fun segment where I did an e-bike tour in downtown St. Pete, and they have all these really beautiful murals. And
that's cool.
That was really fun. Loved it. I loved it. I do so many things that are what I'll call kind of more normal.
Yeah.
And I love them just as much too. So I just want people to be able to watch it and be like, ooh, I could do that in my own city, or I could go there and do that. Or maybe that just spurs an idea for them to get outside.
Yeah.
And, it's just healthy to be outside and do things.
Aren't those e-bikes fun?
They are.
Oh my God, they go fast too, man.
They do. I do try to set mine only on like one or two because I'm like, okay, I need some exercise. Let's face it.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, man, they open up a whole new world because you can say, I'm going to go bike on the trail to the next city over, and you can get some assistance, whenever you need it. And we go a lot further than we normally would if we were just regular biking.
What state are you in?
I'm in Florida. I'm based in Clearwater, beautiful, sunny Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes away from the beach here.
Oh yeah, because you got all kinds of cool stuff to do over there, huh? You got the alligators, you got the fishing, you got tarpon, snook, all that stuff, huh?
We do. The fishing over here is phenomenal, and Pinellas County, the county I live in, is the grouper capital of the world. So the offshore fishing, which that's my jam. I love it because I love catching big fish. Hopefully catching them. Sometimes you lose them. That's the way it is. But, a lot of grouper, snapper. The bottom fishing here is like second to none. But like you mentioned, the inshore fishing too. Snook. Yeah. It's about to be tarpon season.
Nice.
Redfish, trout. Just there's so much over here. It's so awesome.
You are on. I'm like flabbergasted on how many channels you're on. I mean, I'm looking at your, the channels that your show is on. Is that right? All those different channels on your website?
Absolutely.
That's
and
awesome.
we just added one, which I haven't even, I don't think even put up, I haven't updated it because it's so new.
Yeah.
We're going to start airing in fourth quarter this year on Wild TV, which is the largest outdoor network in Canada.
Cool.
So that's going to be fun, and I'm really excited. I hope that opens some doors for me to actually go over and film in Canada too.
Oh, for sure. Now, how does it work with your sponsors? Like, do you get these sponsors yourself, or you have somebody get them for you? How does it work? And do they like help you pay for your show and for your, being on the channels and stuff like that?
Sure. So, we're still a pretty small kind of mom and pop operation, which I do pretty much all of that. So, how they always say I'm the CEO and the janitor.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm with you on that.
And that's what you got to do to get where you want to be, and I learned by trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
I get told no a lot, but I'm completely fine with that now. Like I don't know, like it doesn't bother me because Jimmy Houston told me, he's like, every no is just another door opening for a yes. So you can't let it get to you, and you can't let it bum you out. So, the financing comes from some sponsors, but mainly the destination. So I'm working with a lot of destinations, and they want me to come there because, I am on so many outlets and things. So I can go there and film a really fun experience. And what we want is for people to be like the one I did in Niagara, for people to be like, wow, I didn't know you could even do that in Niagara.
Exactly. Yeah.
I went fishing in Niagara Falls on the river. I didn't know until I did it that you could do that.
No way. Cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I caught so many species of fish in the same area with the same tackle setup, like same lure. Like I couldn't believe it. I mean, I caught a lake trout, which they're really big.
Yeah.
And they're so crazy. I never caught that one. So in one day I caught a lake trout. I caught a brown trout, which I was very excited about, a walleye, and smallmouth bass, all in the same area.
I love it.
All on the same rod and reel and the same jig. I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
Was that up in like towards the falls? You were getting that?
So you drive up towards the falls. Obviously, you don't go all the way up because you're not even allowed. And then you just cut the motors and you drift down the river and you drift fish.
Nice.
And you're bouncing jigs and lures off the bottom, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, all those 4 species I caught in one day, just drift fishing, and then you get down to where you're like, okay, now we're going to go back up, drive the boat back up, and drift back down again. It's really cool.
That's really cool. I mean, to have all those different species in one area, that's pretty neat, man.
It was amazing. And of course, I was there in the fall, so the scenery and the foliage was there. And I live in Florida. I don't get that. I don't get the change in seasons and the leaves and the crispness in the air. And it was so magical and fun. Well, I'm going back to film there again this summer to do some different things.
What's been your favorite show that you've done out of all the shows that you had?
Oh man, that's hard.
Is it?
That's hard. I've got a new one coming out. Of course, Niagara was incredible. I mean, it's the falls. It's one of the wonders of America, and I think the world. So that was fun. I got to go on Maid of the Mist, and I know it's super touristy, but I had never done it, and I thought it was great. I actually went twice because I just wanted to do it again. So I mean, that was great. But also, I went to Costa Rica for the first time. At this place called Crocodile Bay, and it's in the Oso Peninsula, which almost on the border of Panama. And it's just so magical. I mean, you are in the rainforest.
Wow.
Just all the birds and the toucans and the parrots and the monkeys and crocodiles and the fishing. I caught my first rooster fish there.
Awesome.
It was just incredible. And we did inshore one day, catching rooster fish and snapper. I mean, and you're right off the beach. It's so crazy. It's so beautiful. Nobody's around. There's no development there. They put like 50% of their land mass in conservation over in Costa Rica. So it's just so eco-friendly almost everywhere you go. Nice. And then the next day we're offshore catching sailfish and yellowfin tuna.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's really hard to pinpoint a favorite. And I'm filming a lot in Florida this year for season 5. I'm going to be fishing, bass fishing at this old Florida style fish camp in West Volusia, which is close to Daytona. So that's going to be cool. So I don't know. That's hard. That's like picking your favorite child in a way.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. So I've asked this to some other well-traveled folks. If you had one last place that you could go fishing on the planet, where would it go? Where would you go? It's a good one, huh?
I've been so far. That is a good one. But I'm going to have to say, I'm going to say Costa Rica because there's so much diversity there. that you can almost catch anything.
Okay. Yeah, they even have, from what I hear in the interior, they have trout in like some of the rivers there or something.
I hope I get to explore that.
Yeah.
So far, I would say that, I went sail fishing in Guatemala with Jimmy Houston and Sam White from Marlin Magazine. And if you want to catch sailfish till your arms fall off, that's the place to do it. And I'm sure you can catch other stuff too. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna have to say like Costa Rica, just because we caught so many different species of fish in 2 days. It was awesome. And you're right off the beach. You don't have to go that far. So I loved it. So
when you're filming, do you like sometimes just let go blank when the camera's rolling? Like you're just like, what was I supposed to say? Kind of a thing. Does that ever happen?
Yeah. We have a lot of bloopers, or, I'll mess up something, of course. But now when I'm fishing, though, I'm just, honestly, it's reality TV in a way, because I'm just being myself. So in the people with me, like, we kind of forget sometimes that the cameras are even there because we're so into what we're doing. Michael will have to be like, hey, face the camera. I need a shot of the fish, 'cause I was so excited when I caught my rooster fish. I was shaking. Like, I couldn't even say the cool stuff I was supposed to say because it was so overwhelming and I wanted to catch one so bad.
Yeah.
I guess good thing it's not live, but we leave the real stuff in there. I mean, because it's real. And I, one time I filmed a tarpon tournament that I was fishing in, and guess how many tarpon I caught?
How many?
0. Yeah. But I was like, other people did well in the tournament and they had footage. And I was authentic. I'm like, I got skunked today. We saw him. We got one hook up, didn't land it.
Yeah.
No footage of me with a tarpon, but I'm going to show you the other people that did great. I bombed out.
Yeah.
But it's, that's the way it is. I don't pose anything. I don't put bass in the live well, hoping in case I don't catch any. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. What it is. And that's just how it goes,
One of the things I love that you're doing is the nonprofit A Real Future, which you're serving foster children. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And way before I was really doing anything with TV, radio, I was probably writing some articles and things, but I met he wasn't my husband then, but met my now husband, Tommy Larange, and he was sharing his story with me about growing up in foster care. And some kids have a good story and some kids don't. And he's one of the, not so great stories. He got given away when he was 6 years old. His parents couldn't take care of him for, I think, economic reasons. And he really got passed around a lot. He's probably like in 16 plus different foster homes. There's some ones that are really good and some you don't want to be in. He was more in the ones you don't want to be in. And one of the counselors, you're angry, you're sad, you're angry. He was probably like in 5th or 6th grade at this point.
Yeah.
Mad at the world, sad.
Yeah.
And took Tommy fishing. Tommy didn't want to go to school because I think you kind of feel like, well, if nobody cares about me, why should I care about myself? And that makes sense. And he got Tommy hooked on fishing. So he at least had something in his life that, number one, took his mind off all the stuff that he was going through, but it gave him something to look forward to and incentivized him like, okay, I know if I go to school, even though I don't want to, I might get some new fishing tackle. So who cares what the motivation is? The motivation was there. And, by him sharing that story, of course, some people, I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to have a nonprofit that takes kids in foster care fishing. So like within a week, I'm getting all this stuff set up and I come back to him and like, guess what we're doing? And he's like, what? I go, we're starting a nonprofit. here's the name, here's what we're doing. And he's like, okay. And of course, we had no money to start it with or anything. So we funded it out of our own pockets. And I reached out to a lot of group homes in Florida to start with and just set it up. We found the best, most economic and comfortable way for the kids was to take them on these head boats, like party boats.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're good, it's a good first boat experience. I'd say 90% or more of these kids, number one, have never been on a boat.
Right.
They've never fished. So it's a good first boat experience. It has a bathroom, has an interior cabin, even with AC, so it's a little bougie. And I brokered a deal with them where they'd give me a price of $25 a kid. Whereas normally it's like, $55 to $75.
Yeah.
Which is great. So I could afford, for $250, I can take like a group of, 8 to 10 kids. And we can all go fishing and they can have a great day out on the water offshore and we see dolphins and, started that in 2014. So I'm celebrating 10 years this year. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. Are any of those kids, like, have you seen any of those first kids that you've taken, like, later on in life? Like, have they come back and said anything to you or anything?
Yes. And you know what? I still invite them to fish with us.
Awesome.
If they ever fished with us when they were in foster care, the door is always open. So my very first trip, and I still stay in touch with a lot of the kids and they want to stay in touch. Some kids I've known for years and some kids I've only seen one time. So Ozzy just got engaged. He's out of high school. He's like 22 now. He has a cute little baby boy with his fiance, and he's doing well. Not all the stories are like that, but Ozzy's story is awesome. And he's thriving, he's doing good. And, I'm like, anytime you guys want to go, I'll plan a trip around you, or you can hop on a trip when we're going. And, all the kids know that they can reach out to me anytime. And a lot of them keep in touch through social media.
I mean, some of them have never even, done any of that stuff before. And what a great experience for them to be able to be outside and experience catching a fish, possibly. Oh my gosh. So
well,
neat.
and I'm sure you're a fly fisherman at heart, and I would imagine it's the feeling when you're out fly fishing and you're in your zone and you're just there and enjoying every moment. Yeah. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about all the pressures that we have as adults, and it's the same really for the kids. They get a mental break doing something positive and seeing something new. Like, this could be them. They could, they may or may not go into the fishing industry. Right. But Tommy, my husband, he's a captain. He runs a private yacht, a 66 Viking, for a private owner, and travels the world, and fishing changed his life. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen for these kids, but I just want them to see like what's out there. Like, if you work hard, you finish school, maybe you like being on the water and you want to buy a boat. Yeah. Or, who knows? I just want them to see something beyond what they've seen in the past and know that the world is a bigger place and that there's people that care about them too.
If people want to check out your website, this, is it realfuture.com?
Yes, it's A and then real, like I'm reeling in fish, REEL, future.com, realfuture.com. I love it. And it's amazing. We fish year round. And this year we're doing something really cool. Never done it before. I'm not sure. Have you heard of the show? It's not on air anymore except for reruns because Jose passed away. Oh, yeah. But Spanish Fly.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
So his foundation is run by his daughter, Chrissy, down in the Keys. And I reached out to her just to introduce myself and let her know what we were doing with the kids. And who knows, maybe there's some symmetry because I love what she's doing. And they grant fishing wishes for people for a myriad of reasons. And she arranged for a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house with a pool, which is beyond any expectation I would ever have, for us for 2 weeks for a Real Futures down in the Keys. And we're going to have groups of kids of 6 coming down with their counselors for like 4 days. So we're doing like 3 group rotations, and they get to go inshore fishing, offshore fishing, and then we're going to the Dolphin Research Center, and they get to swim with dolphins.
Oh my gosh.
And she made all those arrangements, and the foundation's taking care of everything. And
wow,
we're trying to do it for the kids that are a little older that might be aging out, so they can have this experience. And we'll be doing that in June. So it's just going to be incredible.
That's so cool. So if people want to find you, how would they find you? Like, do you have social networks that you're on, or website?
Yeah, of course, Misty Wells. Just you could probably Google me. My website, mistywells.com, and everything is, I try to keep everything updated. Of course, it's easier to update through social media. So, I'm leaving for the Cayman Islands on Monday to go fish a marlin tournament. I've never caught a marlin.
Awesome.
I've tried and failed. Yeah, so I'll be posting lots of fun stuff. I'm going to be swimming with stingrays over there and doing some, other things to show the island. So I love to show people kind of up to date on social media. So you can just put in Misty Wells,
okay,
and find me like that. But I like to take people on the journey with me, to showcase different places, then maybe inspire them to plan a trip.
That's so cool. Well, Misty, what a pleasure talking to you.
You too. And I just, I'm grateful to be on your show. I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. You have some wonderful guests on there. And I'd love to, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'd love to go fly fishing with you sometime, because
that would be awesome.
I've done it once. I did catch a fish. It was probably by mistake, but either way, I got one. We were in New Mexico, and I don't know a ton about fly fishing. We were wet fly fishing, because I know that's easier for the beginner people like me.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Isn't it fun?
So I would love to, just learn more about it, become better at it, and dedicate some time to that, because it is a true art form in the outdoors.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty into saltwater fly fishing as well, and so like anything that swims, I'm trying to catch it on a fly now.
Well, I got a question for you then.
Sure.
So what's on your bucket list for saltwater fly fishing?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. I would love to go to Bolivia. And I'd love to catch a golden dorado. I don't know if you've seen those. Yeah,
not in real life, but in other people's pictures.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to go to Florida. Oh my gosh, I've never been to Florida. If you can believe that.
We could probably arrange that. I know somebody that lives here and has a boat.
And so I would
love to hook you up.
I would love to go there and catch a tarpon. I've had shots at tarpon in Mexico. In the Belize area there, and
they're tough customers.
Yeah, man. I've had a couple shots and didn't get them, but I did catch some snook and some permit and stuff like that, which are really hard to catch.
Permit on fly.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was cool. And in Guatemala, the guy that we went with, Brad Phillips, and he's caught and released more billfish than anyone in the world. He's incredible, and he had another guy coming right after our trip was over. We met them at the lodge, and he was fly fishing for sailfish. And I think the first day landed like 3 of them.
No way. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. So yeah, there's a lot of fish that live here that could be on your bucket list right here in, Tampa Bay area. Absolutely.
I just did a fishing trip to, and we did a little film in there as well. We went to Laughlin, Nevada. A lot of people don't know that there's good fishing in Laughlin, right by the casinos there. And, I'm a smallmouth bass geek, and just bass. I love fly fishing for bass. And so, the smallmouth there are pretty cool. So there's a show for you too.
Absolutely. I know. Right. And that's the one thing I love. I mean, it's so limitless with, right? My niche is the outdoors. So like that kind of covers everything. So there's no limit. I could film a new show every day doing something.
I know.
But yeah, you need to come over to Florida and experience some grouper fishing and some inshore fishing.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee a tarpon because I'm not that good at it either. But hey, look, every once in a while it happens. I've landed a few, just not obviously while I'm filming.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much diversity over here. It's a lot of fun, and the freshwater fishing's great too.
That's what I hear. I wish you the best, and keep doing what you're doing. So many people are enjoying everything that you're doing and living vicariously through you. That's for sure.
Well, and I want them to join me in the outdoors, and I love when people send me stuff or ideas or pictures of the fish they caught or the deer they shot or just anything at all. Because it brings people together, and I think in general it makes you happier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again, Misty. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed being on the show, and I can't wait for this to come out, and I can't wait for you to come to Florida and go fishing with me.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot.
All right. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's a Guy Jeans podcast.